Here, I'd like to call the meeting to order. The Board of Trustees of Blinn College District meeting is called to order at 10 a.m. The Texas Government Code permits this Board of Trustees to meet in a closed executive session for the following reasons, among others: to consult with the college district's attorneys on matters deemed privileged by the Texas Disciplinary Rules of Professional Conduct or Government Code 551.071, to deliberate regarding real property under 551.072, a prospective gift under 551.073, certain personnel matters under 551.074, security devices or security audits under 551.076, and economic development negotiations under 551.087. If the board meets in closed session, we will announce the particular section under which we will be doing so prior to initiating the closed portion of the meeting. Our next item of business is our invocation and pledge to the American and Texas flags. We have two students with us. Carissa Ross is in her second year at Blinn and is a kinesiology major. Throughout the semesters, Carissa's GPA has allowed her to obtain a spot on the chancellor's and dean's list. In 2024, Carissa graduated from Port Neches Grove High School, where she participated for 3 years as a varsity cheerleader. During her senior year, Carissa received the opportunity to lead her team as co-captain, where she used her leadership, responsibility, and people management skills. Carissa continued cheering throughout her first year at Blinn, and this year, Carissa is a resident assistant for Wheeler Hall, where she has made many friendships and amazing memories. Thank you for being here, Carissa. Our pledges today will be led by Samuel Grisham. Samuel is graduating from Blinn College this May with his Associate of Science in Business Administration. He is a member of the concert choir, a resident assistant at Prairie Lee Hall B, a Blinn Student Government Association representative, and is serving as Texas Junior College Student Government Association Region 4 President. That's impressive. Thank you both for being here. Would everyone stand to join us? And Carissa will lead us in the prayer.
Yes. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us to engage in meaningful discussion and allow us to grow closer as a group and nurture the bonds of our community. Fill us with your grace, Lord God, as we make decisions that may affect students, staff, faculty, and friends here at Blinn College. Continue to remind us that all we do today and all that we accomplish is for the pursuit of truth, for the greater glory of you, and in service to humanity. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
The next item on our agenda is public comment, and no one has signed up for public comment today. So we will move directly into the reports, and we'll start with Dr. Hensley's Chancellor's report.
Thank you so much, Chair Binky, and good morning, everyone, and good morning, trustees. We have two special guests in the audience I'd like to recognize this morning, if I might begin with that. Mardacia Dirks and Janisa Johnson, won't you two stand? They are both health and kinesiology majors at Texas A&M Prairie View, and they are interning with Trustee Wells, and we're so glad to have you join us this morning. We hope you enjoy it. Thank you so very much. Reverend Wells, is there anything you want to add about that this morning? You're good. Let's give them a nice welcome, shall we? I would want both of you young ladies to know, as well as the trustees, just as an aside, day after tomorrow, we're meeting again with Prairie View A&M. We've already had some initial meetings. We're working on some partnerships that will become more public in the future that Blinn is doing with Prairie View A&M. So Reverend Wells, thank you for such wonderful interns to come, and thank you to Prairie View, and we're looking forward to a great partnership with them in the coming years. Well, how about if I switch over to a facilities update now? Upgrades to the, yeah, there we go. Rich is not here today, so I'm just making sure that Julie is moving my slides for me. Thank you so very much. Rich has two sick little girls home today, and so we send him best wishes and lots of love and speedy recovery to both of them. Let's start with the Brenham campus. The upgrades to the Brenham campus central plant are progressing as planned. Installation of the brick and the limestone for the screen wall is underway, and the permanent switch to the new chillers and the pumps is scheduled to begin shortly. Once the switch is complete, the contractor will begin demolishing the old equipment. Facilities is coordinating with Brenham Campus Executive Dean Myron Dipple and any affected departments regarding possible temporary utility shutdowns during the process. Now, trustees, this project very much remains on schedule for completion this coming September. And now over to very exciting at the Waller Workforce and Technical Education Complex. The landlord has completed the interior wall framing and the in-wall electrical rough-in is complete. The windows have been installed and the glass entry door is scheduled for installation in the coming weeks. This project also remains scheduled for completion in May with classes beginning this summer, we believe in July. Now, we're looking forward to hosting a grand opening ceremony at this facility sometime in June. It's a little too early for us to pick the date yet. We'll have to make sure we get the certificate of occupancy, and we'll know that maybe about 30 days in advance. So stay tuned for that one. And then finally, at the Waller Campus Academic Building, permitting with the Texas Department of Transportation and the City of Waller is underway. Construction will begin upon permit approval, and preliminary discussions regarding furniture, fixtures, and equipment are already underway. Trustees and members of the audience and those of you who are viewing, please mark your calendars for 10 a.m. on Friday, March the 6th for our wonderful groundbreaking ceremony. Now, trustees, I think all of you know this is going to be an outdoor event. We encourage you to wear comfortable business casual attire, comfortable shoes that can withstand maybe the dirt and possibly the mud, depending on the rain. And we're looking forward to celebrating this milestone with the Waller community. Trustees, this facility remains on schedule to open for fall of 2027. And that concludes my report for this morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hensley. Next up, we have the presentation of the financial statement package for the period ending January 31st, 2026. Dr. Burton?
Good morning, trustees and Dr. Hensley. This is the financial statements as of January 31st. Keeping in mind that this is the 5th month of the fiscal year and we're at 42%. The topics we'll cover are unrestricted cash and cash equivalents, revenues, expenditures, financial results, and then observations. Looking at our cash, we had the $42.5 million operating reserve. We have funds for R&R. We have funds for current existing projects, and then funds for available for new projects. Looking through the total for current projects includes the Brenham Central Plant, which is at $2.5 million, the Brenham Campus Sports Complex, which is $1.5 million, and then the Waller Academic Building. That's what we've encumbered for that right now. Looking at our cash inflows from students, we received $9.1 million in payments for a net of $8.5 million. Looking for cash from other sources, we received $1.3 million. Looking at cash disbursements, we have $13 million. Looking at the last three slides together, we drew $3.5 million from our operations, and keep in mind that our state funding will be received in February this current month. Looking at revenues, we budget $134 million. We're currently at $71 million compared to $69 million last year. Our operating budget is up, compared to last year, is up 4%. And our operating revenues, this is our history and trends. If you'll notice the other section, that was from our COVID money, and that will be falling off of this chart in the next fiscal year. Looking at our state appropriations, we at 43%, but again, keep in mind that our next payment will be in this current month. Our tuition and fees are at 52% of the year. And tuition and fee is down 2%, which is basically on no change compared to last year, 2% minor. We have net tuition and fees trends, pointing out that out-of-state as increasing. Housing and food service is doing really, really well. We're at 61%. Notice here that real positive results here. We're up 17%. Housing is up roughly $600,000 to $700,000. The food service is up $400,000. So just all along positive trends, and a lot of good work was done on that. Again, our auxiliary trends, housing is improving and food service is improving. Expenditures, compared to this year to last year, we're up by $1 million. And keep in mind, that's less than what we added to the budget because of raises and longevity and other budget requests. Our operating expenses are only up 1%. And our total expenses, which includes bond payments, is up 2%. Looking at our financial results, our revenues at $71 million, our expenditures are at 57.8 for 13.9 or almost $14 million to the positive. Comparing this year to last year at this time, we're up ahead $1.5 million. And I'd like to emphasize that we do foresee with the bond cash coming in that we will receive additional interest revenue more than we expected on our budget. And so observation, our cash is healthy. Our revenues look like they'll exceed budget. Our expenses look like they'll be under budget, and we'll add positive funds to our fund balance. Any questions?
Clem, I have to ask you, I feel like I ask you this every month, and I'm apologizing.
No.
That other revenue where we're up 88%. What was that again?
I want to ask Ms. Ward. Servitas paid us early.
Okay.
That's
well,
right.
and so that kind of goes to my second statement. I'm real excited to listen to Becky here in a minute. And just great job on housing and food services. I was looking, we're up in housing 26% on revenue, but only 6% up on expenses. So credit where credit's due. Awesome job for everybody. So anyway. That's it.
Thank you.
We will now move to item C under the report section, the Fall 2025 Graduation Report. Dr. McBride?
Good morning. Thank you, Madam Chair, Dr. Hensley, and trustee members. I have such exciting news today, so I will do my best to keep my excitement to myself. So if you recall, it goes by so quick, in December, we had our graduation. We had our highest number of attendees there that participated. It was 149 students that walked across the stage. And it's keeping in the trend with the spring. If you remember, we had 301 students that participated in May. And so that's why we're going to have 2 ceremonies this coming May. And I just love graduation. It just brings everyone together and in celebrating our students and all of their accomplishments and goals. And just enjoying sharing this news with you if you couldn't tell. It's so wonderful. We're also going to look today a little bit. We have three types of applicants when students apply to graduation. Of course, the majority are the regular graduation students, so they can apply as soon as we open up registration for that term. They can also apply for graduation. We try to make it as easy on everyone as possible. And the students have pretty much the entire semester before they would graduate to apply. And we also have our reverse transfer students, and most of this information we receive from our four-year partners and our data sharing with them. And a few students do reach out, but the majority do come directly from the four-year partners. And then, of course, our lost grads are students that never completed their degree while they were at the college, but we were able to have found in our records that they're actually eligible. So that's always great news, too. On this slide, trustees, you can see a comparison to last year about our students. We're up 38 students when compared to last year in terms of completing in the fall. And I'll take any questions on graduation, please.
I'm sorry, I have a question again. I was meeting with a school from Florida yesterday, a big community college, and the question came up, and I wanted to ask you, if a student doesn't apply for graduation, do we still confer them?
Yes, we do it for them.
I thought we did.
Oh, yes, sir. We don't let those slip through. Yes,
Yeah,
we do that
yeah.
for them.
Okay.
And we notify
We had
them,
talked
too.
about it in the past. Okay.
Yes, we are doing that. Thank you.
So then maybe that goes along with what I was going to ask. So the lost grads kind of went up again, but how do we reach out to them? Or do we go ahead and confer, as you just said, the degree?
We do both. So we reach
Okay.
out and say, guess what? Becky McBride, you're a recipient of an applied science degree, and then we've applied for you. So we do both.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Then we'll move to our next report that you also have, Dr. McBride. That is the institutional enrollment report for the winter 2025 mini-semester and preliminary spring 2026 semester.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you again, and good morning. We're going to talk first a little bit about winter mini, and then, of course, our beginning of our spring numbers. So as you can see on the slide, our numbers, how we ended up. And one thing I'd like to always remind everyone, winter mini is 11 class days and finals. It's extremely intense. It's extremely quick. And so the majority of students who do take a course with us, it's just one, because it's so fast for them. We began this semester December 15th. We ended January 7th. Students had a small break for the holidays, and we're back online January 5th to finish everything up. And as you can see, we do have a decrease on this slide. I'm going to talk a little bit about that too. If you remember, I think it was September, I had mentioned that this was the first time in 3 years we began on a Monday. We were doing Wednesdays the past 3 years to keep in line with A&M. And so as A&M shifts, we do as well, so that we could also help those students and also build our enrollment. Well, this year, unfortunately, they had finals the first 2 days of our winter mini. And if you ever look at A&M's calendar, they have a fall break and reading days. We don't have those. So we did our best to align it, and this won't be a thing next year. We're in complete alignment, and we only have so many days in December. We don't have flexibility to move that winter mini. It's very tight as we roll out each semester. So if you're wondering why the numbers were that way, and the majority of our students are Blinn students that do the minis, we just pick up the enrollment from the A&M students. So if you're wondering why, what happened there, Becky, that's what happened there this time. So, and again, very intensive, very quick semester. I would like to say, though, that the grades are very impressive, too. You can see we have 18 more high school students that took the winter mini. On average, the GPA is 3.36 for those students during this semester. And we only had, I think, 24 students that took 2 classes because, oh my goodness, that's a lot of time, in 11 days for 2 classes. So overall, we ended up at 1955 for this semester. And our takeaways about winter mini, again, very brief, 11 days of class, 1 day of finals. I'm very impressed with our dual credit students. I continue to be impressed with that increase every year. And our calendar alignment with A&M does directly impact this enrollment. And we don't report winter mini to the state as it is. It rolls into spring. So you don't have to worry about it. It won't be negative. We're up as it is. So we'll be just fine with that because I look at that too.
quick question on the winter mini.
Yes, ma'am.
What type of courses? Are they all core courses or what do we offer?
I believe Dr. Kincaid will confer that, yes, they are mostly academic.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am, they're primarily core.
okay, thanks.
Seeing no other questions, you may continue.
I appreciate that. Thank you. More exciting news to come. All right, so we're going to talk quite a bit this morning about parts of term. And as you can see on the screen, trustees, that red line shows where we are. We're in week 7 already, which is amazing. Week 7 of our 16-week term. And with all those parts of term comes reporting. And that's what we're going to talk a little bit more about here in a short while. The pie chart you can see in the very pretty Blinn blue is the majority of the courses are in a 16-week format, so 66%. And then there's a smaller 16% of the second 8-week in the top left in the navy blue. And we're going to talk about our shift and how we report that 16% here in just a little bit. I will say, with all these parts of term, we do use our CRM, customer relations management software, to send emails and texts to students about things, not only bills and it's time to register, we also send reminders, hey, guess what? You have a class, Becky, on Monday. Sometimes it's a bit perplexing for students. They could take a 16-week, 2 8-week, 2 4 weeks. And so we try our best also, because we should, and remind them, guess what? You have a class on Monday. So that's just something that we are doing. I know March 16th, we start our 12-week. So we'll have another message going out. Guess what? You signed up for this course. And the reason, of course, we're doing this is some of them do forget. So we try our best to use our tools and do the right thing. So let's talk a little bit more about these parts of term. If you recall back in fall of 2020, Blinn embarked on a new reporting process with the coordinating board. We were asked with a few other two-year colleges to report a little bit differently in a pilot program, which we gladly did and will gladly do again if we're asked by the coordinating board. And so whatever we need to do, of course, we will do. And with House Bill 8 and how our funding has changed, right? So we don't have the contact hour reporting as our means anymore, they've asked us to revert back to a reporting structure that we did prior to fall of 20. Okay, so I say this to say, pilot program is ending. We received an electronic memo on Monday, January 26th, that said, effective immediately, you will report the way you did years prior. So this means that fall of 25, we were still in the pilot, okay? This does not mean we're switching any of those parts of terms I just talked about. Those are all remaining. So we're not changing parts of term. Nothing affects the student. Blinn just reports it differently, okay? They're gonna bump us back 30 days. So we'll look at that as well. So we used to report it November 15th for the fall, April 15th for the spring. And what that meant was that second 8-week, that 12-week, all got reported together for our certified. And those are the numbers, trustees, I've been sharing with you, always the certified. It was the whole term in terms of when it took place. Now we're having to go back 30 days. So instead of November and April, as you can see, it's October and March. So if you haven't started that class by the 12th class day of the semester, you're going to go into flex entry the next term. Okay, so we're still reporting it. It's just the following term. Any questions? I can come back to if needed. So it's just shifting it 30 days the other way.
So expect spring 2026 to look dismal.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Fall of next year would look more
Well,
impressive than,
Yes, ma'am. So I thought we did an example too, just to give you an idea of what it's going to look like. So that second 8 weeks and the 12 weeks will not be part of our reporting for the purposes of this group. We'll still report them the next semester, okay? Yes, so if you look here, and I have it in a few places, so under the second to last bullet on the slide, so it'll be spring and summer 1. That makes sense. So summer, yes, ma'am. These were the colleges that were part of the pilot program that took place from fall of 20 to fall of 25. And this is the year-to-date, sort of what you're used to, not the certified, because it's different now. So year-to-date from February 2nd of 22 until this current February, you can see we were up 523 students. That's great. So we're doing very well. Our enrollment is looking great in terms of year to date. So here's the example that we just talked about, Ms. Binky, in terms of how different it's going to look. So on this slide, you can see we have the certified numbers. So this included second 8-week, 12-week, everything pretty much for 25. 26, if we look at that same number from February of this year on the 2nd, that's where we are at that point in time, if that makes any sense. It's just, that's how the numbers are going to look different moving forward. Okay, in this slide, we have our breakdown by, of course, the different campuses that we have. And as you can see, we have an increased enrollment. Again, this is the year-to-date we're talking about, so the second 8-week and the 12-week, as they stand, are part of this slide. So we have an increase at Brenham. We have an increase, in dual credit at the high schools, and also in the other category. So Brenham, of course, is, we'll talk a little bit with the next presentation. We're up 166 students this spring when compared to last spring, which is very exciting. Of course, I'm always grateful to Dr. Kincaid and Mr. Anderson for all their support in our enrollment goals. They're fantastic partners. We're always looking at enrollments and capacities and all those things. It's ongoing, and it seems to be working. So I'm very grateful for both of them. When we look at the high schools, jumping back to the increases, we have 59 agreements. 30 of those have increased since last year. I believe we're going to have an early college with one of our partners starting in the fall. So I'll be able to say 60 partners in the fall. So that's exciting as well. And that has really just grown in so many positive ways in terms of people we could serve. I'd like to note that for both O'Brien, Schulenburg, and Sealy, even though you see some negative numbers up there, those 3 areas have helped to fuel that increase in dual credit. So they're not showing up at the campus per se, but they are populating in the dual credit population that you can see. Also for Brian, I'd like to talk a little bit about four-year partners. And if you look again, of about 40 four-year universities in Texas, I was looking around, and about 26 of them have had an increase in their enrollment again this year. So that directly impacts us, especially if a student can go to their four-year partner first. They're going to make that decision. If you look at A&M's fall numbers, they were up 793 students when compared to last year. So that's almost 800 more students that they've taken on as a first year, which directly affects us as well. I'd also like to note for Brian, if you recall, we've talked that the team program will be returning to that location for fall. That's approximately 1,600 students that are involved in that program this year. And we are continuing to make our calls to those students who haven't returned this semester from last semester. And of course, we have our electronic communication too, using that CRM to reach out to folks whenever they're ready for us to know that we are still here and able to assist them. Takeaways from our spring enrollment. Of course, we've exceeded the head count when compared to 22 through 25, of course, up to date. And it is continued to increase because we're not finished enrolling. As I said, that a 12-week is coming up here, I believe March 16th, and the second 8 weeks is April 3rd. So we're still onboarding students for those two. I mentioned the CRM because that really is a critical piece for us in reminding students of everything that they need to do. And just be mindful, please, that we're going to modify how we report. So it's going to look a little bit different. We will still receive the credit for those students, but it will be the following semester in that flex entry. And then we'll modify our reports with all of you so that you can see where we are more year to date. Any questions?
First, I want to commend Dr. McBride and the whole college campus because I know it takes everybody, financial aid, Dr. Thurman, and advising, and all of the different components. So observations on the data. I was here pre and during COVID. So when we look at the enrollment number or where we are, how does that number compare pre-COVID? And then also in terms of overall enrollment, where does it rank?
So to clarify, you want to know before COVID how we did overall. I know this is our second highest enrollment since COVID. So our peak was fall of 19, right?
Okay.
That was our peak.
So it's the highest total since COVID, and it's the second highest overall.
Second highest since COVID.
Okay,
Yes.
outstanding. Okay, great, thank you. And then the last question is, particularly looking at the Brenham campus and all the positivity there, how much of a role does athletics play in terms of not just enrollment on campus, but also the great numbers we're seeing with the dormitory?
Yes, and I'll talk a little bit about that in the next presentation. I think 80% of the students that are special pops are in the halls. We'll get to that. It's a pretty high number. It's a very large number. But they're continuing to do well, too, and graduate and be successful, which is exciting.
Again, Randy kind of stole my notes, I think. Great job, particularly in Brenham. And if you don't mind going back to that, there's the good one there, right there. You know, I can't remember 9.5, I'm sorry, an increase. What is that?
11%.
That, yeah, 3.3%. That, you know, fantastic for you and everybody involved. In Brenham, I was going to ask that same question, Randy. But I don't think we need to just say athletics. We need to call it special populations, because there's a lot more than just athletics. And I think if you look at anything on this form, this sheet this spreadsheet, the Brenham number is what just kind of sticks out, because that's a number we've been fighting for years. And we would not have a good campus without those special populations. So again, that's a great effort for everybody. And even Schumacher, I saw him in here earlier. Thank him. But a couple of things on this report, I think that we need to think about as we're making decisions. And one of my, I guess, questions to you is, what can we, and you can answer after I finish talking, what can we do as a board to help you with the areas that we need help in? And you mentioned distance ed, and if you look at the numbers from 2026 to 2022, we have a 94% increase in distance, I'm sorry, not distance ed, high school students. Now, that's a nationwide trend for community colleges, so we're not an outlier there, but I cannot help but think that we are much higher than most community colleges than that. And that's a great thing. Unfortunately, though, and back 30, 35 years ago when we were first getting dual credit set up, I think it was Dr. Cottingham that said that it may initially cannibalize our other campuses. And if you look at our on-campus registration, Brenham, Bryan, Rella, Sealy, Schulenburg, we're actually down 4.4% from 2022. I think Brenham's propping that up a little bit, which is good. But the one that really concerns me, I think us as a board need to be concerned about, is our Brazos number. When you put Bryan and Rellis together from 2026 to 2022, we're down almost 8% in enrollment. And I'm glad that team is moving back to the Villa Maria campus, where it should have been all along. But, you know, what can we do in that area to help? That's very, very concerning about our Brazos campuses. But otherwise, I just think it's a great report. And you mentioned maybe that these dual credit students were actually going to other campuses. Maybe a better report, if you want to really analyze the numbers, is to look at butts and seats, for lack of a better term. And that means if they're a dual credit student, but they're taking it at the Bryan campus, we count them once at Bryan, and maybe if they're taking distance ed once, it's one on both places. So that would be a good, interesting report, one I used to try to run to kind of give us exactly where those students are living in. But anyway, I just want to say thank you and good job to everybody. So.
Thank you so much. I appreciate all your effort and willingness to listen to me ramble on about my excitement, but also all the hard work that comes into it. You know, it's a lot. And, you know, talk about the dual credit. What brought that to my attention, just a sidebar, when we do the advisory committee presentations for each of the campuses, that's when we pull that and look at it. And it's not to say we can't modify and show that as well, but I already pulled that for those reports. And so I just wanted to add it as something that I'm already looking at. And I mentioned even to the Brazos group a couple weeks ago that a lot of that enrollment, you know, the high school improvement is from their areas, and thank those ISDs for their contribution. So, and anything y'all can do when you're in the public, just we want to keep these students. And I also think the scholarships that we have are such a wonderful encouragement for students with the Washington County and those different pieces to help keep folks here. And it's everyone's job, right, to get students and keep them here at the college. And I'm so grateful to be able to say, look how wonderful our numbers are. So thank you.
Dr. McBride, just wanted to visit a little bit about Schulenburg-Sealy. Obviously, very low enrollment campuses, and probably okay as long as we're not having to invest significant resources in those locations. But I think, as I recall, I think we have some potential investments that may need to take place to keep Schulenburg going from an HVAC standpoint. I don't know the timing of that. I don't know when that would need to take place, but you know, again, from the standpoint of planning, from a board perspective, I think we need to be talking about that at some point, and figuring out what that looks like and how that's going to work. So.
It sounds wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. I think
And
I have one more.
you're up again for our Blinn Brenham Housing Summary Report for the spring 2026 semester.
Wonderful. All righty. Well, I'm up here for the third time today, and again, all positive news. Looking at our housing here at the Brenham location, and you can see that our available beds this spring to us is 1,767, and we have leased out 1,374. So we have a very healthy increase from this time last year. I know part of that does have to do with, of course, the recruitment we talked about with students at the end of last year and making sure that we stayed in touch, and before they went home, even for the holidays, this past December, made sure they did what they needed to do so they could return to us. I also know the engineering group has been, they were able to increase their enrollment as well, and they were, I think, around 60 students. I believe they were able to increase their number this year, so that helps, of course, as well with that population. So we're just very excited to be at 78% filled at this time. On this slide, you can see, trustees, when we look at fall and spring, starting from 21, you can see how our beds have been filled, so to speak. So it's looking really good. I like to see that number there, and I know the dining hall staff has been busier and the Cruzy Center has been busier, and so you can feel it on campus in a great way that the life is here and that the students are very involved as well. We did do a survey, as we always do, to the students in November, seeing if who's going to return to us the next semester. Majority of students indicated they were leaving because they were transferring. That was the number one reason. That's to be expected, so no real surprises there. The next two slides, trustees, just a breakdown per facility of that 1767 and where they are. And pretty much that's the same for the next slide. Again, just each individual building doing very well. And takeaways for our housing here in Brenham, that this is the highest spring occupancy since spring of 2020. We have 166 more students when compared to last year. And our retention rate's pretty good too, 81%. We've been hovering around 80, 82% the past few years. So I say this to say we're keeping them. And that's important too. We don't want you just to come here. We want to retain you and make sure that you finish what you started. And 80% of the students live on campus, or 80% of the population here is on campus. And I do think the number is around 800 special pops, which includes athletics and band and all those other pieces. So the majority of the students are here for a particular reason, and we're retaining them. And that's something I think is important to note too. So thank you so much again.
Chairwoman, first I want to thank Chancellor Hensley and the board for being visionary, because several years ago we talked about taking older dormitories offline and building the P3s and other dormitories. Even if you look at the trends, the most expensive dorms have the highest fill rate. And again, with Brother Mark Felhag, I want to thank him for the just excellence of maintaining this campus that whenever I'm here, we were watching some high school students touring as that we were pulling up, that the facilities are always in the spirit of excellence. So it leads me to my last point as we contemplate upgrading with the sports complex. We're not spending money, we're investing in future students so that our enrollment numbers can look like this. So every time we see an investment of capital improvement, we can also correlate that to increases in enrollment. So again, I want to thank everybody out there who worked so hard to be able to make this a premier college for students in the state of Texas. So thank you.
Anyone else?
Well, I was just gonna say, I do remember in COVID and we just, the year after, didn't have the numbers at all. And so it's very exciting to see how far we've come. And like you said, we took, I think, 3 offline, maybe more than that. 5 now? Okay, sorry. I'm trying to keep it positive, okay? No, but it's amazing. And I just have one question, like we used to see, because it was such a concern, the breakdown of what these different buildings had. So I just have a question about Building 4 at Blinn College Park. Are those larger apartments? I mean, more rooms, or, because it's one of them that has the least amount, which is nothing to,
Okay, so if I go back, I can give you the brief, how I look at it when I look at the apartments. So only buildings 4 and 5 are 2-bedroom units. All
okay.
the others are
that's what I wondered.
4-bedroom.
Okay,
So there is a slight difference in what you're looking at in terms of beds, but they're the 2-bedroom units.
okay. Well, it's wonderful news. Let's keep doing it.
Amen. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wonderful work. Our next item on our reports is the presentation of updates concerning all matters related to the issuance and sale of the Washington County Junior College District Combined Fee Revenue Bonds, Series 2026. Dr. Burton?
Yes, ma'am. I'd like to introduce Mr. Stephen Adams with Specialized Public Finance to update you on our bonds.
Thank you. Before I get started, I'd like to say one of those December graduates was my daughter, so. Okay, so we had a really good bond sale. As you recall, this board authorizes to sell bonds, a parameter sale at a meeting in December. And so we took bids on February the 12th based on the parameters that were approved by the board. So after that sale, the legal documents were signed. So everything has been approved by the board and signed. So this is a non-action item report of what happened on that day. So we took bids to fund $55,500,000 in proceeds for buildings. We received 7 bids. Robert W. Baird was the winning bid at 4.317%. Just to point out, we showed the board a 5.25%. I'd like to point out, we were estimating that rate, as far back as September and October for a sale in February of a very volatile market. So we did have some cushion put in there, but we got really good bids. We got some help from the market interest rates going down, and compared to what we showed this board in December, the lower interest that you will be paying is $12,310,000. So that's almost $400,000 annual that will go right to your bottom line. We sold bonds with redemption that you can repay these at the option of the board on October 1st, 2035. We also we had to get the bonds rated. We went through a process with Standard & Poor's, and I'll go through that here in a second. And we received bond insurance, which was bidder's option bond insurance. So the bond insurance companies put a price out on the day of bidding. The firms bidding have the option to either bid with your underlying AA- rating or buy that insurance, turn around and sell the bonds with a little bit higher AA rating.
the bonds, the winning bidder chose the latter. It did use bond insurance on its bid. Now, a little bit about the rating. These are comments from Standard & Poor's, not from me, talking about the reason you have a really high rating for a community college, AA minus. But I want to talk a little bit about the experience of the management team. That's not just something that's written that they read everything and figure it out. We had a call. We had multiple members of your staff. I'm not going to try to name them all because I'd forget somebody. But in every aspect of the college, whether it's the financial, the operations, the construction, all parts of it were explained well, just like you see every day at these meetings. And the analysts, of course, they're people, they take note of that. And when they evaluate this and take it to their credit committees, they have to answer the question, well, is that staff, do they have a strong management team? And those calls, which are now Zoom, they used to be in person, but, they play an important part in that decision. But also, you have a nice service area, you're blessed with that. Now it's a little bit larger. Your enrollment base, you've just seen that. And you have great alliances with four-year colleges, and of course, you have a very healthy balance sheet with a lot of cash. Now, we went through that with Standard & Poor's. We said, our target is we're not going to go below $42.5 million. We laid out everything that could happen about the expenditures for all of the other projects that are not being paid for bond proceeds. We gave them pro formas. We told them we could pay the bonds, even if there were no students at the new college, and all of these things came into play for this rating. So we were really happy to get that rating. We're selling a lot of bonds. We're starting a whole new campus, and they maintain the rating. These are the firms that bid on your bonds, and you can see the 7 firms. A lot of these are names that you know. The interesting thing to point out, you can see that the little asterisk, Jeffries and KeyBank submitted bids without bond insurance. So we let the market decide, does bond insurance make sense or not? And you see the first 2 bids, Robert Baird and Wells Fargo, which were pretty close together, they both did use bond insurance. So the next thing we do is we say, well, how do we do compared to other similar community colleges or other bids? I know this is small, but since not everything is done on the same day, how we compare it is compared to an MMD, which is a 3-time published index of municipal bonds. And you can see that what we look at here is how much did you trade higher than MMD? And I will tell you that all Texas bonds, most all, trade higher than MMD because we don't have a state income tax. And so our bonds are a little bit higher yields compared to if you buy bonds in a state where you have state income tax. But if you look at the first maturities where we have the same coupons and the same maturities, across the board we did better than in higher rated community colleges. So your bonds traded very well by any aspect or measure that you can see. And I think, we bid our bonds, not everybody does. I think that makes a big difference, but you can see that your bonds got really good bids compared to any other bonds we could compare this to. This is the debt service that you have. It's lower than what it was because of the lower interest rates, lower than what we showed you at your last board meeting, but you can still see that over time it goes down. So as your needs come up in the future, you will have capacity to issue more debt if you need to. Now, we looked a lot at these ratios in many of your meetings coming up to this, and what the lower interest rate does is 2 things. It helps our debt service coverage be higher at 4.5%, and it also reduces the amount of your total revenues that have to be used for debt service. And you can see on the far right, I know it's hard to see, I apologize, but it does continue to fall over time. And so we think that is helpful. The least amount of money you can spend on debt service and the more for other things to operate your college is obviously a better solution. This slide is to point out one thing. We're selling $54,520,000 in bonds to fund $55,500,000 in projects. And you may wonder, well, why is that? And the reason is the market coupon rates, or the rates that the ultimate investors want on those bonds, are typically higher than the yields in the marketplace. Well, if they want a 5% coupon on a bond that yields 2.2, like the first one you see there, for that $955,000, they have to pay us more for that bond than par. And you can see they paid us 10% more, roughly, that 109,332. And up and down the yield curve, you can see there were some discounts at the end, meaning the yield was a little bit higher than the coupon. But the net result of adding all those premiums and discounts together is, on that second line here, they paid the college $1.2 million and some change in a premium. Well, so the total sources that we need is $59,143,000. So we lowered the par amount of the bonds because we didn't need or want extra money. We only needed what was required to build the project, pay the cost of issuance, and fund the reserve fund. And so that premium is the reason that we can do that. This is the schedule of events that we have been going through over the past several months, and even before that, before we got to the board meeting, there was obviously a lot of work done by the staff and some meetings with the board about the project itself. But from our standpoint, we started on October the 21st when we presented the initial financing plan to the board, and then did an update on December the 1st, and then on the 4th, we actually passed the legal resolution authorizing these bonds. So all of the legal things done by the board were done on December the 4th. And then on the 12th, going on down, on February the 12th, after the rating calls and everything else, we priced the bonds via taking bids on an online bidding process, which is used in the municipal market community. So today, this is just an update. What's happening right now is the documents are all being approved and reviewed by the Attorney General of Texas. Once that happens, we expect to close on March the 18th, and you will have all of your proceeds. With that, I'd be glad to answer any questions and congratulate you on what was really a good sale in my view.
I didn't hear anything negative in that. That was so good.
I just want to say thank you for your guidance, and want to thank our leadership as well for working with you to make this a very, very successful issue. When we're issuing a bond, we're looking for the lowest cost that we possibly could have, and I think we have very well achieved that. Thank you again to our accounting department, to the heads of the different groups for putting this together. Just very, very happy with this effort. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate those comments.
I'd just like to say congratulations to Blinn College, to everyone in this room. You guys are the reason that kids want to come here and they're successful. Thanks for the good numbers. Thanks for your effort in helping us to get the best rate, and great job leadership. Super.
Well done. Yes.
I was at Relish when I got the text. I jumped visibly. And I thought that was a perfect location to be, because about 4 years earlier, I got the text from Layton, who was in Austin, that the legislature had approved our expansion request into Waller. And I was within 5 feet of being in the exact same spot where I got both of those two texts. So I think it was prophetic. This is a joyful time for Blinn College with amazing leadership from the board who thoughtfully determined that we would move forward on this project. I said it in December, I will say it again today. I strongly believe with all my heart that you have set the forward direction for this college for generations to come. And for that, all of us present and in the future will be eternally grateful. Thank you to our marvelous staff. Thank you to Stephen and all the hours we have talked. And to your wonderful staff. I don't see them all here with you today, but please extend our appreciation to them. This has been a labor of love for all of us. Trustees, with all my heart, I thank you so very much for the future of Blinn.
Thank you. All right, we're going to move now to our consent items. All items listed in this portion of the agenda are considered to be routine by the Board of Trustees and will be enacted upon in one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a trustee so requests, in which event the item will be removed from consent and considered in discussion and possible action. Trustees receive agenda materials in advance of the meeting to prepare for the business to be conducted. Today, we will remove 2 items from the consent list. So everybody is aware, we will be removing BCB and BDB from the consent items to discussion, and they will fall at the end of the discussion as item F. They are on page 80 and 84, I believe. If you have 80 and 86 maybe, we'll make sure that we have that correct for you. So let me look at that real quick. I've got page 80, BCB local. Is that correct?
Yes, trustees, they're items in your board packet. Those are items 5G and 5I.
Yes, sir. 5G and 5I. Everybody on board?
I move adoption of the consent agenda excluding those 2 items.
Second. Oh, go ahead.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. We will now move into our discussion and possible action items. Item A, approval of new Associate of Applied Science degrees in Artificial Intelligence and in Artificial Intelligence in Business. Dr. Anderson?
Good morning, Chair, trustees, Dr. Hensley. Exciting day for Associate Applied Sciences Workforce Economic Development. I'd also like to thank Dr. Kincaid for the ACGM courses that support all of these AAS degrees. It puts our students in the ACGM courses as well. We also have our team that I'll be introducing in just a minute. I wanted to offer some insight to artificial intelligence. And also, before I do that, I wanted to thank Dr. Hensley for her unwavering support of career and technical education. It's the innovative programs that continue to draw new students to our campuses, and this is a very exciting opportunity nationally, and Texas and Blinn College is at the forefront of offering these new artificial intelligence AAS degrees, Associate of Applied Science degrees. Just wanted to offer some thoughts as we move into a proposal to approve these 2 new degrees. Artificial intelligence is rapidly reshaping workforce expectations and driving unprecedented demand for AI-skilled employees. AI-related job postings have increased 61% year over year, and nearly 1 in 4 new technology roles now require AI competencies, signaling strong and immediate employability for individuals with applied AI training. Employers across industries are prioritizing candidates who can operate AI tools, support automation, and enhance productivity, making applied AI skills essential for entry into high-growth careers. AI proficient workers also benefit from significantly higher wages with in-demand skills such as prompt engineering, which is the practice of designing and refining instructions for AI systems to produce accurate and useful results, earning notable wage premiums. We've heard about AI hallucinating, and it is the prompt engineering which minimizes that AI hallucination. As AI continues to influence hiring decisions, job quality, and wage structures, students equipped with hands-on training from the Blinn College District, pending board approval, will gain a distinct competitive advantage. The proposed Associate of Applied Science degree in Artificial Intelligence and Artificial Intelligence in Business directly address the workforce demand by preparing graduates for immediate entry into technical and hybrid AI-enabled roles while positioning for high-wage, future-ready careers. That is a backdrop. I'd like to introduce and offer an invitation for Dean Fowler to approach the podium and introduce other team members on these degrees.
Thank you so much. Good morning, Dr. Hensley. Good morning, Chair Benke and trustees. Since August, when mathematics and business merged with engineering, computer science, technology, and innovation to form the MBET division, we've been intentional about building alignment, not just structurally, but culturally. We set out to create a division where academic rigor and applied workforce preparation operate in partnership, where students develop analytical depth, technical competency, and business fluency in the same ecosystem, where collaboration across disciplines is the expectation and not the exception. That culture of integration is what allowed these artificial intelligence degrees to take shape in a thoughtful, fiscally responsible, and strategically aligned way. As you will hear, these programs address workforce demand while leveraging existing faculty expertise and institutional resources. They are high impact, stackable, and designed for immediate applicability. More importantly, they reflect the direction of the college as a whole. As we prepare for the launch of the Waller campus, beginning with strong workforce-focused programming and expanding over time to include broader academic pathways, we are intentionally building an integrated model, one that does not separate technical education from academic opportunity, but connects them. MBET is already operating in that model. These AI degrees demonstrate how workforce relevance and academic strength can exist side by side, creating both immediate job entry and long-term mobility for students. This work has been led collaboratively. Carol Wiggins, our program coordinator for computer information technology, brings deep experience in systems, infrastructure, and emerging technologies. She has been instrumental in aligning the technical AI curriculum with industry standards and partnerships with Google, Microsoft, and Amazon. Dr. Tressa Shavers, Assistant Dean of Business, brings both academic leadership and industry-informed business expertise. She has ensured that the AI and business pathway integrates management, marketing, accounting, and ethical decision-making in ways that prepare graduates to apply AI strategically and responsibly. Together, their cross-divisional leadership reflects the collaborative model we are building within MBET. These programs are not isolated additions. They're part of a cohesive framework designed to position Blinn at the forefront of applied innovation while remaining grounded in our mission. With confidence and in preparation planning behind this proposal, it's my pleasure to introduce Carol Wiggins and Dr. Tressa Shavers to walk you through the details.
Thank you, Victoria, and thank you, board, Ms. Dr. Hensley, the rest of the board for giving us this opportunity to come and present to y'all. Okay, so I want to introduce the information technology or the IT track of this. As Victoria had mentioned, we are combining our two degrees into some combined and shared courses, but we each have our separate technical and business tracks. The technical track does focus on cloud computing, Linux, operating systems, networking. Those are tools that are needed to encourage and help the students to participate in the technical side of information technology as well as in AI. It provides graduates the ability to take over and work in high-demand IT roles in infrastructure and technology problem solvings. So we do this through 3 tiers. Step 1, or Tier 1, is the Occupational Skills Award, and this is a 12-hour, credit hour structure that enables students to earn those basics and be able to continue on both in the workforce as well as in their degrees. And the next step is a 33 credit hour level 2 certificate, which deepens their technical expertise in the field. And then the third is the full 60 credit hour Associate of Applied Sciences degree in AI. This AI pathway aligns with key industry partners, as Victoria had mentioned, the Google, Microsoft, and Amazon. We use their curriculum that they use to teach their industry partners. We use their curriculum in our courses, so it directly aligns with what they are teaching industry. It also allows them to, or allows us to provide credentials of value to our students along with those industry certifications that those partners provide. So I will allow now Dr. Shavers to continue to talk about the business track.
Good morning, and thank you, Carol. On the business side, as you can see, the green stairway there, our AI and business track is designed to meet a very specific workforce need. Organizations are not just looking for programmers anymore. They're looking for professionals who can provide and apply AI tools to improve operations, strengthen strategy, and make smarter decisions. This program follows the same stackable model as the AI program. Students will earn a 12-hour Occupational Skills Award, or OSA. They can advance to a 30-hour Certificate 2, and then also complete a 60-hour Associate of Applied Science degree. This structure creates early exit points into the workforce while also supporting long-term credential completion. The focus of these credentials of high value is both practical and applied. Focusing on strategy, analytics, and operational improvement, graduates will be prepared to operationalize AI tools in ways that generate measurable business value. Strategically, these credentials of value positions Blinn College District at the intersection of business education and emerging technology, differentiating our offerings while directly responding to employer demand. The AI and business credentials are designed to produce graduates who understand AI not as a trend, but as a business necessity and capability that creates competitive advantage. The key distinction between the two pathways is one allows students to learn how to build the technology, the other teaches students how to leverage the technology. Together, they position our college to meet the growing demand for both AI infrastructure talent and AI-enabled business professionals, strengthening workforce alignment, enrollment potential, and institutional differentiation. Carol will now provide an overview of the AI courses that both programs will share.
Thank you. So I want to highlight the core curriculum that makes these pathways so effective. The courses that you see on the screen, there are 6 of them, they represent the essential shared core for both the information technology and the business tracks. We believe that it is crucial for both our technical and business students to share a common foundational language in AI. Across the board, our approach emphasizes practical application through a low-code and no-code lens, ensuring students know how to actively deploy these tools rather than just studying them in theory. Crucially, as students progress through this curriculum, they will have the opportunity to earn those highly valued credentials of value in AI directly from our industry partners. So our shared core consists of 2 main areas. We have the Systems and Architecture Foundation. So this grounds all of our students in the history of AI, the hardware and cloud platforms that run it, and the essential scripting and database logic required to manage the massive data sets that power AI. Second, we have the intelligence and industry application. This focuses on real-world deployment, where students explore the fundamentals of machine learning and analyze actual AI case histories across various industries to evaluate both strategic business goals and the broader societal impacts. While these shared core courses form a shared foundation, the two tracks then diverge to build specialized expertise. On the IT side, students will complete their degrees with additional deep dive technical courses focused on advanced AI, cloud infrastructure, and networking. On the business side, the remainder of the pathway is filled with additional business courses tailored to strategy, analytics, and operational decision-making. This structure ensures that all students have robust AI fundamentals before moving into their specific specializations. Now, Dr. Shavers will talk about the existing career outlook and the market demand.
Thanks again, Carol. So this particular slide underscores the urgency and opportunities surrounding AI workforce development. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, over the next decade, AI-integrated roles are projected to grow at rates significantly above national average. AI-specific job postings have increased by 68%, while traditional IT roles are declining. At the same time, AI-skilled professionals command wage premiums of 15 to 34%. Excuse me. What's notable is the shift from theoretical research to applied implementation. Employers are prioritizing hiring professionals who can operationalize AI, integrate data, automate workflows, and translate analytics into performance improvement. This has created what many refer to as the AI technician gap, a shortage of individuals who can bridge technical capability and business execution. Our credentials of value will prepare students with the skills in prompt engineering, as Vice Chancellor Jay mentioned earlier, machine learning, and data literacy. The high-value applied AI skills that will help fill the AI technician gap. We are excited about these credentials of value, and we know they will help our students and Blinn College sit at the forefront of innovation. Thank you for your consideration, and we are happy to answer any questions you may have.
You mentioned that there are partnerships, Google, Amazon, they have training. So are our instructors going through training sessions with them in order to teach?
Yes, our
Okay.
instructors, including myself, go through those trainings. We take those courses. We have the opportunity as well to earn those industry certifications as well, just like the students do.
Okay, because I don't know how you can't offer this
Yeah.
in the future. I mean, it has moved so fast. It seems
Yes.
like we heard about it about 3 years ago here at Blinn and outside, and it's like, it's just moving. So
Yes, it moves incredibly fast. I've been working with AI for about 5 to 6 years now, so it's a little less new to me, but it is certainly becoming more prevalent. And the shift is really focusing, it's changing from using AI to cheat to using AI to help you learn and to do business more efficiently.
this is why I'm retired.
too.
Thank you. Go ahead.
So my kids got me using Grok and Gemini, and it's life-changing. And I just asked Gemini while you were talking, what was the expected degree, salary of an AS and AI? And it said 55 to 85,000 a year. Now, it also said, though, that you really need a higher degree. So my question is there, I know an AAS typically is a terminal degree. Is there any kind of alignment or pathway to get any type of bachelor's degree with this program?
Yes, so we're working with Texas A&M Mays Business School to create a pathway to their AI in business. And we're working with other institutions as well, so students have more options if they want to go up.
So will these courses be transferable?
That's what we're working on.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, they're applied science or welcome courses, but some of our partners accept technical
Right.
credits, and so we're working on that with the May School of Business.
Where will these courses be taught? What campus?
All of them, online. Yes, they'll be available.
Thank you, Trustee Crowson. In fact, I just talked with Dean Fowler yesterday about this, and I anticipated the question, would this be an opportunity for Waller? And pending talent acquisition, this could also be a Waller opportunity. And as Dr. Shavers mentioned, AAS degrees are not designed for transfer. However, many institutions acknowledge AAS degrees for a zero loss of credit transfer through an articulation, and that's what's being sought.
Let me just add to that. So East Texas A&M University does currently take all of our AAS programs as a direct 60-hour transfer into their BAS in technology management. In fact, both of my sons have taken that pathway or are in that program right now.
Yeah, that's exciting to hear because also at McCombs at University of Texas, actually they're inquiring, they send me stuff every week. I'm follow up on it, but there's really a great growth opportunity to be able to do some of that alignment with four-year universities.
I do see Vice Chancellor Schubert approaching the podium also. I think at this time, because this is an action item, we'd be seeking a motion for approval, but I'll hand that off to Vice Chancellor Schubert.
Thank you, Vice Chancellor Anderson. Trustees, I just want to brag on our team for a second. This is an incredible job. This is on the forefront, really the cutting edge of what's going on in technology in our world. This is a very creatively designed program. This is not only helping our students be successful, it's also helping a specific workforce need. But I want to get back to the second slide here, because what a wonderful illustration of how our team is now designing programs for success of the student, but in line with new state appropriations under House Bill 8. Trustees, you'll see here, if I can get my cursor working, there's the stair step here, and this is a wonderful illustration. And each one of these stair steps, OSA, this is a credential of value, standalone credential of value. They move up here to a certificate 2, an additional standalone credential of value. AAS, an additional standalone credential of value. If the student processes through this entire track, that student will have earned 3 credentials of value while at Blinn College, which is 3 separate funding opportunities on that same student from House Bill 8. So I want to applaud this group. It's a well-designed for the success of the student, but they've also built in the very creative way to get to those House Bill 8 funding items. So great job, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you very much. One additional potential funding opportunity, I always like to think about those funding opportunities, would be dual credit alignment and 15 credits also. So there could be 2 additional funding sources there.
And trustees, I forgot the 4th. If they take this and transfer it to a 4-year, that's a 4th. I apologize, there's 4 there.
So the entire process.
Well thought out, and it sounds so very exciting for our students. Thank you for all you've done. I would like to entertain a motion to,
I move that we approve the new Associate of Applied Science degrees in AI and in AI in Business.
in a second. Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I have to seize the moment, absolutely. See, I'm using my teaching skills. I'll wait. I don't often comment during board meetings. I try not to, but this one I must. When you hear us come before the trustees and say, Blinn is at the forefront of X, Y, and Z. You saw example A just now. as community colleges go in Texas and as they are throughout the United States. Once again, trustees, you must know, Blinn is at the forefront of innovation and creativity. We are ahead of the game on almost every community college in these United States. I'm so proud of the work that our staff have done to get us here today. This didn't start a week ago or even a year ago. It's taken us a while to get here. Some of you may reflect on a conference that we went to a couple of years ago, and you were going to hearing about AI and what that is and how, how is this going to develop? Some of us were even saying, what is it? Well, we've come a long way since that time. But a couple of years ago, I reached out to Max Hibbs. So Max, I see you back there. I'm going to ask you to stand. And I said, I want Blinn, and you can shake your head if this is accurate. I want Blinn to be the first of the community colleges in Texas to integrate AI in some way into our curriculum that will result in degrees and certificates, correct? And I gave you a challenge at that time. Let's be the first. Let's go out there and do it. Let's make our students want to come to Blinn for these kinds of innovative opportunities, along with our gaming and other things that we were doing. And Max immediately started contacting conversations with Google and Amazon and Microsoft and others. And so now there's a second person I want to stand, and that is Dean Victoria Fowler, just such a treasure for Blinn. And so she replaced Max as the dean of this program area. We reshuffled and redesigned the curriculum and the programs that are offered. And then we moved Max to do great things with Waller. And Victoria has kept the ball going and just done such a marvelous job as dean. You may not know Victoria. I think this may be your first time to talk in front of the board at the podium. And you did a lovely job today. I'm so proud of you every day. And Max and Victoria, I've had involved with the League of Innovations, which is a national organization that is, at that cutting edge for what happens with community colleges in the United States. And they're both integrally involved in it, actively participating in the league. And I might mention, too, that we've had a number of presentations that Blinn has done in recent years to the League of Innovations, showcasing some of the things that we were doing. So could I pass up this opportunity this morning? I thank you. To just say congratulations to a team well done. Jay Anderson, please stand also. You and your team and all that you have brought here today. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud for Blinn. And I'm so proud that the board can actually see when we talk about how wonderful we are and that we're at the front, here we are. So congratulations. Let's give everybody a round of applause. Thank you. And I'm glad that Layton popped up on the credentials of value because I was getting ready to do the same. This translates not into wonderful opportunities for our students and certificates and associate degrees, but also funding, hopefully, to this college that will help us to continue to forward new programs. So I'm going to be quiet, hopefully, for the rest of today, but I just couldn't miss this opportunity to thank everyone and congratulate you, and thank the trustees for the approval of these programs.
Thank you, Dr. Hensley. Next, we'll move to discussion item B, authorization for the administration to negotiate and execute a contract for flooring contractor services for the flooring replacement at Wheeler Hall on the Blinn Brenham campus. Dr. Burton?
Board, I'd like to introduce Mr. Mark Feldhage.
Good morning, Chair Banky and members of the board, Dr. Hensley. It is a very exciting day, but I'm going to bring us back to kind of business as usual. It's that time of year again that we bring before the board our R&R projects that we're going to be working on this summer. And so the first agenda I'm going to present to you today is agenda item 6B. This is a request that the board authorize the administration to negotiate and execute a contract with Texan Floor Service Holdings for flooring contractor services related to flooring replacement in Wheeler Hall on the Blinn Brenham campus. Wheeler Hall is the building located pretty much directly behind you. We had replaced a lot of the flooring in the east and west wings a few years ago whenever we had that unfortunate flood event. What we hadn't replaced at that time was the flooring in the south wing, which is directly behind you. So this is a project we wish to endeavor this summer that will replace the carpet in that south wing on the first, second, and third floors, as well as in the central lobby with LVT, which is a much better flooring for that hall. Using board policy CF Legal, which allows for a pre-approved procurement list through interlocal contracts with the state for certain purchases valued at or above $100,000. We use this process to solicit proposals. Based on those proposals, the college is able to obtain the best value, and the administration recommends that the board authorize the administration to negotiate and execute a contract with Texan Floor. We've done several projects in the past with Texan Floor for $183,885 for the flooring replacement at Wheeler Hall on the Blinn Brenham campus. This will be a summer project. It will be completed in the summer. We've coordinated that with the housing department. And these funds are available from the FY26 R&R budget. So with that, I'll stand for any questions.
I make a motion that we approve Texas Flooring Service Holdings.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Flooring to be done.
Very good.
Next up, I'm assuming it'll
Correct.
still be you.
I think I'll finish
Okay.
out the day. Well, I guess you have a couple new agenda items. Agenda item 6C, this is a request that the board authorize the administration to negotiate and execute a contract with Texas Air Systems LLC for mechanical controls contractor services related to the building automation system in the academic building on the Blinn Brenham campus. Before I get into this, maybe I need to explain building automation systems. This is the technology behind controlling your air conditioning. We don't have that technology in the academic building. It's fairly antiquated. It's run off of compressed air, which is very antiquated and fails. This is going to help us to extend the life of the academic building until we can get to that master plan project. So with this, we're requesting the board authorize the administration to negotiate and execute a contract with Texas Air Systems for $192,000 for the mechanical controls contractor services. We use board policy CF Legal for the procurement of this, which allows for certain purchases valued at or above $100,000. Again, we have coordinated with the academic department, with the executive dean for this work to be done in the summer. We will be kind of working in the buildings. It'll be replacing thermostats, putting some control wires in. I don't believe that we're going to completely get rid of classes in the academic building this summer, but we'll be able to work around those classes. Funds for this project are available from the FY26 R&R budget. So with that, I'll stand for any questions.
Mark, with this being an electronics type of upgrade, what is the life of this particular system? Is it 5 years, 7 years? Any idea?
These systems pretty much last the life of the building. There are different parts and components that will go out over time. I am not wise enough in the specifics of how long a thermostat lasts, but generally they're 15, 20, 30-year items. And we're working through some of the minor details of that. But yes, it's going to last quite a while. It's going to help us to extend the life of the building.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, I was just going to say, thank you for explaining that it'll help extend the life of this building until we can
Yes, ma'am.
make a decision later, which helps make the decision.
Any other comments? Questions?
I move that the board authorize the administration to negotiate and execute a contract with Texas Air Systems for mechanical controls contractor services related to the building automation system upgrades at the academic building on the Blinn Brenham campus.
And a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving to agenda item 6D.
Yes, ma'am. This is a request that the board authorize the administration to negotiate and execute a contract with REC Industries for mechanical contractor services related to air handler unit replacement at Building D on the Blinn Bryan campus. This project is very similar to a project we completed recently on Building A. Building A and D are both two of the three original buildings on the Bryan campus, built in 1996. We replaced the air handling unit in Building A a couple of years ago, and that greatly helped with air quality and humidity in the building. This is a similar project to replace that central air handling unit in Building D. Building D is where we hold our science classes, so air quality and exhaust is a priority in that building. This is, this is the original air handling unit from 1996, and we've had maintenance repairs that we've had to do on it over the years to keep it running. This is going to greatly enhance the quality in that building. On January 21st, the College District received 2 proposals in response to the request for proposals for mechanical contractor services. The committee reviewed and scored the proposals. Based on the scores, the administration recommends that the board authorize the administration to negotiate and execute a contract with REC Industries. We've done many contracts with REC over the years. Last project we did with them was a chiller replacement on the Bryan campus. We would request that we execute a contract with REC for $234,445 for mechanical contractor services related to the air handler unit replacement at Building D on the Blinn Bryan campus. This project has been scheduled with the executive dean, and we've worked with the academic groups. We're going to be working through the scheduling of that this summer so that it minimizes any impacts to classes. And funds for this are available through the FY26 R&R budget. With that, I'll stand for any questions.
I just have a general comment, and that is, I just want to just say how appreciative I am of our methodical and planned approach to repairs and maintenance, that we stay ahead of these type of things. The money that we spend today is money that we're going to save later. I do, in terms of, and spending now in terms of purchasing power, in terms of we don't have unplanned surprises in the future that we're not happy with and that we have to spend a lot of time and money on. And the fact that we provide our students with the best environment that we can for their academic and comprehensive type of education. So thank you, Mark. I don't have any questions on this specifically, but appears that if we need this, then I'm all for it.
Thank you for your kind words.
You're welcome.
You said it was the original in 1996, so 30
Correct.
years, that's what
Correct.
you've told us. So we've probably gotten our good use. Could I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So the motion was for a new air handling unit on, for Building D on the Blinn Bryan campus. That has passed. Thank you. And I think you have one more.
One more.
Okay, go right ahead.
So agenda item 6C, this is a request that the board authorize the administration to negotiate and execute a contract with the personal computer store doing business as Abonext. You might be more familiar with that name, for audiovisual equipment for the Blinn Waller Workforce and Technical Education Complex. As you know, earlier this year, we started bringing soft cost fixtures, furnishings, and equipment proposals to you for approval. We believe this is probably the last one as we approach moving into that building. This authorization would allow us to contract with Abonext for the audio-visual equipment. That is things like projectors, monitors for the conference room, projector screens, microphones, cameras, things of the like that are going to help with that educational environment. Using board policy CF Legal, which allows for the pre-approved procurement list through an interlocal contract with the state for certain purchases valued at or above $100,000. The college solicited and received proposals for audio-visual equipment. The scope of the work for these proposals has been evaluated and allowed the college to obtain the best value. Based on the proposals, the administration recommends that the board authorize the administration to negotiate and execute a contract with Abonext for $117,825 for the purchase of audiovisual equipment for the Blinn Waller Workforce and Technical Education Complex. Funds for this are available from the FY26 operating budget. So with that, I'll stand for any questions.
I think it's straightforward. We need it.
We do.
I would entertain a motion. Dr. Krausen has made the motion.
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you all.
I'm excited. Our last item is not printed on our agenda. I will call it item E. We will look at the proposed amendments, BCB and BDB, that we removed from the consent agenda. Clayton?
Thank you, Chair
yours.
Benke. Trustees, Dr. Hensley, happy to walk through these policies. There are two policies. Member trustees, this is on the backdrop of Update 50 from TASB. There were lots of other policies. Trustees, this is item G, 5G. If you'll turn to page 79 of your packets, that's where the first one is, under tab 5G. These are two policies. That the first one is a combination of TASB changes and internal changes. The first one addresses board committees and the establishment of those committees. So I'll just kind of walk through this line by line here and stop me at any time if you have any questions. The goal of this was to sort of centralize and clarify the process of creation and dissolution of board committees. At the very first paragraph, you're going to see that the new language is that the formation of a board committee shall be made by the board chair. And then the second paragraph there, these are the TASB changes. This statement was in the policy in a couple of places. You'll see that about at the standing committees, they've taken out that language there. If you turn to the second page on special committees, they've taken out some language there. They've combined those two paragraphs into an introductory paragraph that mentions that board committees are fact-finding, they make recommendations, they are not a final authority or anything like that, they're just recommendations that are made then to the full board. And then that's that second paragraph, unless specified by the board, they have no final decision-making authority and they report back to the full board at a regular or special meeting. And then the next sentence there is back to the internal changes, a standing or special committee shall be dissolved by the board chair. So once again, under this proposed policy, board committees are created and dissolved, and they get their purpose from the board chair. A very similar one that would be created recently that you'll know under Senate Bill 37, we had to do a curriculum review. The board chair created an ad hoc committee to do that review and then report back to the full board. So that's a good example of that. The other change that's occurred in this policy is still on the first page. You'll see under standing committees, we are removing or proposing to remove the real estate and property committee, and then that corresponding removal is also at the bottom of page 1 onto page 2. The reason we're removing that committee is anytime we have real property discussions, as you know, trustees, we run those through the full board. So there's really no reason for that committee anymore. We do all that through the full board when it comes to any sort of real estate or property items. So those are the proposed changes. Happy to answer any questions on those items.
Yeah, so I brought this up, and I don't really have any questions on the changes. My questions are, who are on these committees, and can we get a little better representation? So can you list who is on these different committees?
Yes, sir. Happy to do that. So let's just start with the first standing committee, which is the Institutional Policy Committee. That's referred to as IPC sometimes. Those are the board officers. The board officers serve on the IPC committee.
Let me stop you right there. Is that I know it's not in red, but I don't recall that. I thought that committee was not the board officers. Way back, I was on that committee. I think it was prior to being on the board officer, so.
Current language in the policy, you're right, it's not redlined because the current language in the policy is that paragraph on IPC. It's been the board officers probably as long as I've been at Blinn, since 2018. I don't know how long, but currently it's board officers. I'm not sure when that policy was changed, but it's been like that for several years. Trustee Kokors, I know when you were chair, it was board officers.
I was going to say, I know I was on it when I first got on the board, and I wasn't a board officer.
But you were on the executive board when you
I
first got on.
don't think so, but maybe I was. I don't know.
Yes,
Let's
sir.
keep going, though.
Yes.
So anyway.
So yeah, that's been the board officers for several years. The Budget, Audit, Investment, and Finance Committee, right now, that is Trustee Kokors is the chair of that committee. We have Trustee Ehlert on that committee, and we have Trustee Benke on that committee. Those are the members of that committee. Like I said, the Real Estate Committee is not in operation right now. We also do not have the Academic and Student Affairs Committee in operation. The reason we kept that is because the legislature is making a lot of changes around that right now, and we felt it was probably helpful to keep that committee if ever needed to reestablish that committee. And just a side note, Dr. Krause, and I'm sorry to jump in there. As always, trustees, as you know, all trustees are invited to all of these meetings, and many of y'all attend most or all of these meetings. We do post all committee meetings as a board meeting so that all trustees are invited and are able to come to those.
Yeah, I would just recommend that we have participation on multiple people. You know, at one time, every board member was on a committee. That's not the case anymore. So that's my comment on here. So,
thank you.
Otherwise, I would make the motion that we approve the changes to BCB.
So the motion, second, all in favor?
Aye.
So the changes for BCB have been approved. Let's move now to BDB, which is on page 85.
Thank you, Chair Benke. This is on item 5I in your packet, starting on page 85. Trustees, these are once again internal changes. And what this was done to do is to clarify the public comment process. And looking across the spectrum of our public comment information, board policy on our website and also on the sign-in sheet that we have, we noticed there were some discrepancies between those items. So these two changes are an attempt to streamline in board policy the overall process of public comment. And trustees, there are two changes here, both on the first page. Under public comment, under the procedures section, we've added a section that says when you're signing up for public comment, you must sign up at least 5 minutes prior to that meeting. The reason we do that is because obviously at the beginning of the meeting, we turn the sign-in sheet to the chair. The chair has to organize and prepare for that public comment. And if we don't know that, but 30 seconds before the meeting, that makes it challenging for the operational side of the meeting. So we were having a proposal that you sign up at least 5 minutes prior to that meeting. The second change is on that same paragraph, a couple paragraphs down. Right now, we're proposing the change of the time limit per speaker. Remember, trustees, the legislature has said a couple sessions ago, we cannot have overall time limits for all of public comment, but we can limit the individual people time that are doing those comments. So in looking at other public entities in the area, 3 minutes is actually the norm. Brenham ISD has 3 minutes, City of Brenham has 3 minutes, several of the colleges have 3 minutes instead of 5. So we're lining that up further with the other public entities in our area to have more of a consistent approach. So those two items, signing up at least 5 minutes and then having a 3 minutes per speaker per meeting.
In process, weren't we already doing 3 minutes? I thought we were already doing 3 minutes, just was listed as 5 minutes, I guess, in the policy.
That's right. And that's what I said earlier about clarifying across the different platforms. Our policy said something, our website said something, and the sign-in sheet said something. This is our attempt to centralize so everything says the same thing.
So Rebecca, you're the timekeeper, so it was
My
3 minutes?
Yeah, my timer's on 3 minutes. And it
Yeah,
has
that's
been.
not always. Yeah.
Yes,
Well, then
'cause
I'm
I wasn't
good.
sure if
I
we
just
had
didn't
one.
want us to change it
Yeah.
willy-nilly that, okay, well, now we don't like people commenting.
No,
It's
this
so
is
hard for
all-
people to come up. And I think just we should encourage that, but not limit them. But if we're already doing 3 minutes,
It
then I'm
was
okay
3
with it.
minutes this fall. I know that.
And I may have exceeded my 3 minutes. Those are the only proposed changes, and happy to answer any of the questions.
Are we good with the 5 minutes prior to the meeting?
Yes.
Are we good with the 3 minutes? I'd entertain a motion, please.
I'll go ahead and make that motion again since I questioned these. So,
A second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries to approve
Thank you, Chair
BDB
Benke.
local. Seeing that there's no other business before the board today, I would like to have a motion to adjourn this meeting.
I move that we adjourn.
Second?
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The meeting is adjourned at 11:43 a.m. Thank you.